Good morning students. So in previous class we have seen the magnetic field. We have found out the magnetic field due to a current carrying wire. Then we have also found out magnetic field due to a moving charge. In magnetic field due to a moving charge, there was a special case where the charge was revolving in a circle and you have to find the magnetic field at the center of that circle. So for that you have to remember the formula. That formula will help you in a chapter called atomic structure. So now we are going to talk about magnetic force. So here first we will find magnetic force on a moving charge. After doing the detailed study of this magnetic force on a moving charge, we will see the magnetic force on a current carrying wire. As I told you in the initial class that first we are going to see the magnetic field due to a current carrying wire, then we will see the magnetic field due to the charge. Now if in that magnetic field a charge is moving, it is going to experience a force, we will see that force, then we will see the magnetic force on a current carrying wire. So here do not get confused between the formula, what is the formula for the force and what is the formula for magnetic field. So now next heading is magnetic force. Now suppose there is magnetic field, as I already told you when I am drawing the cross means the magnetic field is in the inward direction, and in this magnetic field there is a charge q and it is moving with a velocity v. Magnetic field magnitude is b, velocity magnitude is v and the charge is q. Now the force on this charge is given as q v cross p. So this is the magnetic force. So Fb means magnetic force on a charge is q is equals to v cross b. Now so this is the magnetic force on moving charge in a magnetic field. If you just want to write the magnitude of the force can be written as F is equals to q v b sin theta, and here what is theta? Theta is the angle between velocity and magnetic field. So the magnitude of the force can be written as q v b sin theta, where theta is angle between velocity and magnetic field, and the direction of the force you can find it by doing the cross product of v and v. Again I told you that in this chapter you have to practice cross product a lot. So here the direction of force is given by the cross product of v and v. Now how will you find the direction of the force? Direction I told you for for cross product direction you can use two rules. First is right hand thumb rule, second one is right hand palm rule. So here the direction will be either given by right hand thumb rule or right hand palm rule. What do you do in right hand thumb rule? In right hand thumb rule you keep your fingers in the direction of the velocity and curl it towards the magnetic field. The thumb will give you the direction of the force. So in right hand thumb rule, fingers in the direction of velocity, curl it towards the magnetic field, and thumb will give you the direction of magnetic force. Or you can use right hand. So this is right hand thumb rule which we have already seen, or you can use right hand palm rule. Now in right hand palm rule what do? You keep your thumb in the direction of velocity and fingers in the direction of magnetic field, and the palm will give you the direction of magnetic force. So here any of the laws can be used. I am going to use right hand palm rule most of the time, because right hand thumb rule you have to curl your fingers and sometimes it is very difficult in the given situation to curl your fingers. This is most appropriate we can use. So we are going to use right hand palm rule to find the direction of the magnetic force on a moving charge. So from here I can see that the force depends on the charge or magnitude of the charge, it depends on the magnitude of the velocity, it depends on the magnitude of the magnetic field, and it also depends on the angle between velocity and magnetic field. So basically the force depends on these four things. So let us talk about first what this force is and some points about this force. First thing is, as you can see, this force is perpendicular to the both velocity and magnetic field. You know that if you write C as A cross B, then C is perpendicular to A as well as C is perpendicular to B. So here I can say magnetic force is always perpendicular to the velocity and it is also perpendicular to the magnetic field. That is why when we have written the property of magnetic field lines, we have said magnetic field lines only gives you the direction of magnetic field, it does not give you the direction of force, because here magnetic force and magnetic field are not in the same direction, both are perpendicular to each other. So remember this thing, magnetic force is always perpendicular to the magnetic field or magnetic field lines, and it is also perpendicular to the velocity. Second thing, now if the force is perpendicular to the velocity always, I can say it will always be perpendicular to the displacement also. So from this I can write work done by this force will be F dot ds or dr. So the work done by a force, you know that it will be integration F dot dr. Here the angle between the magnetic force and displacement is always 90 degrees. So from here I can say work done by magnetic force is always 0. Remember this thing, first thing, magnetic force is perpendicular to the velocity, is it also perpendicular to the magnetic field. Second thing, because it is perpendicular to the velocity, it will also be perpendicular to the displacement, and if it is always perpendicular to the displacement, work done by this force will be 0. Third thing, from work kinetic energy theorem, you know that work done by a force is equals to change in kinetic energy due to that force. So here if the work done is 0, change in kinetic energy will also be 0. So from here I can say initial speed of the particle is equals to final speed of the particle. Here again remember, here the particle's speed is constant but velocity may change because the force is acting perpendicular to the velocity. So magnetic force can only change the direction. So magnetic force can only change the direction of the velocity, it cannot change the magnitude of the velocity. So work done by magnetic force 0, always perpendicular to the velocity, always perpendicular to the magnetic field. Now as you know that work done by a magnetic force is 0, so you can say the power given by the magnetic force will also be 0. So these are the some of the point which you have to remember about the magnetic force. So you can note this down and you have to remember and make use of these properties when you are solving the problem in magnetic field. So we are going to talk about special cases in the force now. So the magnetic force is given as Q V cross B, or magnitude of the force can be written as Q V B sin theta. Now in this one we have special cases. So first special case is theta is equals to 0 degree or 180 degree. Now what do I mean by this thing, that theta is equals to 0 degree or 180 degree? Basically theta is the angle between velocity and magnetic field. So I can say velocity is either parallel to the magnetic field or velocity is anti-parallel to the magnetic field. So the first special case is when the velocity, the particle is moving along the magnetic field or it is moving opposite to the magnetic field. So suppose the magnetic field is in this direction, magnitude of magnetic field is B and particle's charge is Q and it is moving in the direction of the magnetic field, or you can say it is moving opposite to the magnetic field. In this case theta 0 or 180, so if you put the value of theta here you will find out this is 0. So here in this case the force on the particle will be 0. Now if the force on the particle is 0, then you can say acceleration will also be 0. So if acceleration is also 0, then velocity, final velocity and initial velocity will be same. Here remember the magnetic force is 0, so now it cannot even change the direction. Initially it cannot, when the force is acting it can only change the magnitude, it can only change the direction of the force. but here the magnitude of force itself is 0, so it cannot even change the direction. So here final velocity will be equals to initial velocity. From here you can say the motion of the particle will be straight line motion. So if the particle is moving in a magnetic field parallel to the magnetic field or anti-parallel to the magnetic field, it will keep on moving with the same velocity in the same direction. So motion of the particle will be straight line. So first case where the velocity is parallel to the magnetic field or anti-parallel to the magnetic field, motion will be straight line. Now the second case is most important case, because here the force will be acting and it will change the direction of the velocity. So the second case is theta is equals to 90 degree. So here the angle between velocity and magnetic field is 90 degree, which means velocity is perpendicular to the magnetic field. So suppose you have magnetic field which is inward direction, so you can say magnetic field is inward direction. So this is magnetic field, and the particle is moving in this magnetic field perpendicular to the magnetic field, charge is q. So from here you can say that the magnitude of the force will be qvb, because here angle between velocity and magnetic field is 90 degree. Magnetic field is inward direction, velocity is in this direction, so this angle is 90 degree. So magnitude of the force will be F is equals to qvb. Now let us find out the direction of the force. Direction of the force you can find out by the right hand palm rule. In right hand palm rule, thumb in the direction of the velocity, fingers in the direction of magnetic field, and palm will give you the direction of the force. So here the force will be in this direction. So if the force is acting like this, after some time the velocity of the particle will become like this. As you can see here, still the velocity and magnetic field are perpendicular. So again you can find the direction of force by right hand palm rule. So thumb in the direction of velocity, fingers in the direction of magnetic field. So here the force will act like this. So particle will start moving like this. So the force will be like this. So as you can see here, the direction of force is changing always as the direction of velocity is also changing. So ultimately the path of the particle is going to become a circle. So remember this thing, if the angle between velocity and magnetic field is 90 degree, the magnitude of the force is qvb, and the force is always perpendicular to the velocity as well as magnetic field, and particle is going to do circular motion. Now if you remember, we have studied two kind of circular motion. One was uniform circular motion, second was non-uniform circular motion. So in uniform circular motion, the velocity of the particle is changing with only the direction, but magnitude is constant. So just now we have seen that magnetic force can only change the direction of the velocity, it cannot change the magnitude of the velocity. So when the particle was here, the velocity was this. When particle reaches here, the velocity is in this direction, but magnitude is still same. So here also this direction, here also this direction, and the direction of the force will be towards the center of the circle. So this is your magnetic force. So if the angle is 90 degree between velocity and magnetic field, the magnitude will be qvb, the motion of the particle will be uniform circular motion. So now the particle is going to do a uniform circular motion if the velocity is perpendicular to the magnetic field. So when the velocity and magnetic field are perpendicular to each other, the motion of the particle is circular motion, uniform circular motion. Suppose the particle which is moving, the charge on the particle is q, mass of the particle is m, speed of the particle is v, magnitude of the magnetic field is b. So these are the quantities which are given. Now we are going to derive some formulas. The force on the particle can be written as qvb. So here the force will be towards the center of the circle, and velocity of the particle, magnitude wise it will remain v only, it is not going to change. Now in uniform circular motion we have seen that the magnetic force, the centripetal force is always equals to mv square r in uniform circular motion. So I can equate this force to mv square by r, because this force is basically centripetal force. So I can write qvb is equals to mv square divided by r. Now here what is the r? R is the radius of the circle. So from here I can write r is equals to mv by qv. So this is the formula. One more formula which you have to remember. Again remember the condition, with the condition you have to remember the formula. Here condition is velocity and magnetic field are perpendicular to each other. If velocity and magnetic field are perpendicular to each other, the motion of the particle will be uniform circular motion. In uniform circular motion, the force on the particle will be qvb, which will be equals to the centripetal force. Now from this you can find the radius of that circle. So the radius of the circle will be given by mv divided by qb. So this is the formula for radius of the particle, radius of the circle in which the particle is doing uniform circular motion. Next thing, if the particle is doing uniform circular motion, in uniform circular motion you can write time period. Time period can be written as 2 pi r divided by v. If you remember, we have done these things in uniform circular motion. So from here if you put the value of v and if you put the value of r from here in this one, you will get time period of the particle will be 2 pi m divided by qb. So this is the time period of the particle. Now if the time period, as you know time period, you can find the frequency also. Frequency of the particle can be written as 1 upon t. So the frequency will be qb divided by 2 pi m. Now you know the time period. From the time period you can find the angular velocity also. Angular velocity, or from here velocity is given, you can find the omega also. So from here you can write omega is equals to 2 pi by t, which will be equals to qb divided by m. Qb divided by m. So this is the radius of the circle, this is the time period of the particle, and this is the angular velocity of the particle. So from here you can see that the radius of the particle depends on the mass of the particle, it depends on the velocity of the particle, it depends on the magnitude of the charge and magnitude of magnetic field. Look at this time period depends on the mass, it depends on the magnitude of the charge, it also depends on the magnitude of magnetic field, but time period does not depend on the velocity of the particle. Similarly, angular velocity depends on the charge, it depends on the magnetic field, and it depends on the mass. So time period, frequency and angular velocity, they do not depend on the velocity. You have to remember this fact that when the particle is doing uniform circular motion under magnetic force, time period, omega and frequency do not depend on the velocity of the particle, while the radius depends on the velocity. So if you increase the mass, radius will increase. If you increase the velocity, again radius is going to increase. With increase in the charge, radius will decrease, and with increase in the magnetic field, radius will again decrease. So these are the formula which you have to memorize. So we have seen a formula for radius of the circle when the particle is moving in the magnetic field, which is given as mv divided by qb. Now as you can see, m into v is the momentum. So this can be written as magnitude of the momentum, which will be p divided by qb. And you know that relationship between kinetic energy and momentum can be written as momentum can be written as kinetic energy can be written as p square divided by 2m. From here P can be written as root of 2m kinetic energy. So from here I can replace the value of momentum here, I will get root of 2m kinetic energy divided by qb. So you can remember these formulas, because sometimes instead of giving you the mass and velocity separately, they can give you the momentum or they can give you the kinetic energy of the particle. From that you have to find the radius of the particle. So again they can ask you how the radius depends on the momentum, how it depends on the kinetic energy. So you can see radius is directly proportional to the mass, it directly proportional to the velocity, or it is directly proportional to the momentum, or you can say it is directly proportional to the root of kinetic energy, not the kinetic energy, root of kinetic energy. So these are the different form of the formula for radius when the particle is moving under magnetic force in a uniform circular motion. So now you have to memorize this result. The only thing which is confusing is in this one, formulas are straightforward. The only confusing part will be how to find the direction of where the particle is going to go. Suppose magnetic field is inward direction and particle is moving in this direction. So this is the velocity and this is the magnetic field. So as you can see, the particle is moving in this direction and magnetic field is inward direction. So velocity and magnetic field have 90-degree angle between them. So particle is going to do the circular motion. Now depending on the nature of the particle, it can do either a circular motion which will be like this, or it can move in a circle like this. So how do you find the direction of the force? The direction of the force, remember, it is given by this q v cross b. So if the charge is positive, the direction will be along v cross b for positive charge, and opposite to the v cross b for a negative charge. Remember, here you have to put q with its sign. So if the charge is positive, this force will be q, this term will be positive and this will be v cross b. So you can just simply write the direction of for positive source, positive charge by this formula, this direction. But if the charge is negative, here there will be a minus sign. So the direction of the force will be opposite to the v cross b. Now we will understand here. Suppose the charge is positive. If the charge is positive and it is moving in this direction with velocity v, you can see that force on this positive charge will be given by the direction of v cross b. So I can do v cross b, thumb in the direction of velocity, fingers in the direction of magnetic field, palm will give me the direction of the force. So the force on this particle will act like this. So the particle will undergo a circular motion like this. Similarly, if the charge was negative, suppose negative charge is moving in this direction, so the force on negative charge will be opposite to v cross b. So here v is this, b is this, so the v cross b is in this direction, so the force will be in the downward direction. So here the particle will do circle like this. So here the particle will rotate anti-clockwise, here it will rotate clockwise. Remember, this is one of the case they can change the direction of magnetic field as outwards. In every case you have to find first v cross b and then see whether the charge is positive or negative. If the charge is positive, the direction of force is along v cross b, and if the charge is negative, the direction of magnetic force will be opposite to v cross b. Here v cross b is upward direction, so force will also be upward direction because charge is positive. Here v cross b is again upward direction, but the charge is negative, so the force will be in the downward direction. So remember these things. So we have seen two special cases of magnetic force, where first magnetic field and velocity were parallel or anti-parallel. In that case the particle's path was straight line motion. Second was when velocity and magnetic field are perpendicular to each other, particle is going to do uniform circular motion, and for that uniform circular motion you have to remember the formulas for velocity, sorry, you have to remember the formula for radius, you have to remember the formula for time period, and you have to remember the formula for omega. If you know the time period, you can write the frequency, and those standard result that velocity, radius depends on the velocity, while time period, omega and frequency does not depend on the velocity. Third case is where there is some angle between theta is theta, which means the angle is neither 90 degree or neither 0 or 180. So now the angle between particle and the angle between velocity and magnetic field can be anything except 90 degree, 0 degree or 180 degree, because we have done these three cases earlier. So now let's say draw the diagram. Here magnetic field is in this direction. So magnetic field is in this direction. If I am throwing the particle like this case we have already done. This case also we have already done, where the velocity and magnetic field are perpendicular to each other. So now the particle is moving like this. So velocity of the particle, initial velocity is in this direction. Here angle between velocity and magnetic field is theta. Charge is q and mass of the charge is m. So here the particle will have combination of both the motion. Here what I can do is I can take two component of the velocity. This component of the velocity will be v cos theta, and this component of the particle velocity will be v sin theta. Again we are making use of earlier cases where here velocity is parallel, particle will do straight line motion. If the velocity is perpendicular, particle will do circular motion. But here the velocity is at some angle with the magnetic field. So what I can do is I can take two component of the velocity, one along the magnetic field, second one is perpendicular to the magnetic field. So if I want to write, I can write magnitude of the force will be qvb sin theta. So this is the formula for magnetic field. Next thing what I need to find is what will be the motion of the particle. So the motion of the particle will be, you have to imagine this thing from these two cases. Suppose the particle has only the velocity which is parallel to the magnetic field. If the velocity of the particle is parallel to magnetic field, the particle will move on a straight line. Now suppose the particle has only perpendicular velocity. So if the velocity of the particle is perpendicular to the magnetic field, particle will undergo a circular motion like this. As you can see the direction of right hand palm rule, you can see that the particle will move like this, so it will move like this, a circle. So if the velocity was parallel, particle will move like this. If velocity is perpendicular, particle will move like a circle in this. Now here the velocity of the particle is combination of the both. So the motion of the particle will also be combination of the both. So particle will do circular motion also, and it will do motion like this also. So ultimately the motion of the particle is going to be like this. So here particle is moving in a circle also, and it is moving in the front also. So here the motion will be like this, and this kind of motion is called as helical path. Again remember, the magnitude of the force will be given as qvb sin theta. The motion of the particle will be helical path. So in this helical path you can see it looks similar to a motion of a spring, which you see in your note. If you see your notebooks, in your notebooks you call it as spiral binding, but actually it is helical binding. So the motion is like that. So here you can see it will have a radius, and here there is a distance between these two consecutive points, and this distance between these 2 points is called as pitch, and this will have a radius which is r. So we have to find the radius of this helix, and we have to find the pitch of the helix. Now I told you that radius is this particle is moving in this circle. So here the radius of the helix will be given as this velocity. So I can write this thing as mv sin theta divided by qb, or you can write from this also, because here this is the force which is centripetal force. So this centripetal force is equals to mv square by r. From that you are going to get mv sin theta divided by qb. So here this is the radius of helix, which is mv sin theta divided by qb. Similarly the formula for pitch, can be written as the velocity in this direction into the time taken to complete one cycle, because the particle starts from here, it again reaches at this point after completing the one rotation. So here pitch can be written as pitch, I am going to call it as capital D. It can be written as V cos theta into capital T, because the particle is taking one complete turn to reach to this point. So here this will be V cos theta into T, and again formula for T can be written as 2 pi m divided by qb, and from here you can put the value of T here. So here this is the motion of the particle when there is an angle between magnetic field and velocity. The path is called as helical path, it is not called as a spiral path, although you normally in your life you call that spring kind of thing as a spiral, but it is actually called as helical path. The radius of the helix will be mv sin theta divided by qb, and the pitch of the helix will be v cos theta into t, where t is the time period and formula for time period is 2 pi m by qb. Remember, time period of a particle does not depend on the velocity, so there will be no velocity terms here. So to quickly summarize this thing, you can make a table. The force is always given as QVB sin theta. Direction, as I told you, you have to find it by right hand palm rule. Now right hand palm rule, when you are applying, remember, if the charge is positive along V cross B, if charge is negative, opposite to V cross B. Now in this case, in this we have seen different cases. First was theta is equals to 0 or 180 degree. If theta is 0 or 180 degree, the path of the particle is going to be straight line path. And when the particle is moving on a straight line, the distance covered by the particle you can simply write V into t. Because the velocity of the particle is constant, so the distance travelled by the particle in t time will be V into t, which is this simplest motion of the particle. Second is, if theta is equals to 90 degree, then the particle is going to do uniform circular motion. In this uniform circular motion, here the force on the particle, if you want, you can write 0, because if you put the value of theta here 0, it will come out to be 0. Here you can write force as QVB, this will be equals to the centripetal force, which is mv square divided by r. From here you can write the radius formula as mv divided by qb, which is equals to p divided by qb, and this is equals to root of 2m kinetic energy divided by qb. Then time period of the particle can be written as 2 pi m divided by qb, and the omega formula also you can write as qb divided by m. So these are the formulas for when the theta is equals to 90 degree. And the last thing is, when theta is theta, which means angle is neither 0, it is not 80 or 190. So theta is not equals to 0 degree, it is not equals to 90 degree, and it is not equals to 180 degree. In that case, the path of the particle is going to be helical path. The radius of the helix can be written as mv sin theta divided by qb, and the pitch of the particle can be written as v cos theta into t. And time period formula will still be 2 pi m divided by qb. So this is the magnetic force in different cases for a moving particle. You can note this down as a table and you can quickly revise it when you are attempting your papers. So now next we are going to see another kind of force which is called as Lorentz force. As you know, if a particle is moving in electric field, the force, electric force, is written as Q into E. Similarly, if the particle is moving in a magnetic field, the force will be written as Q into V cross B. What if the particle is moving in an electromagnetic field? Then the total force on the particle will be written as electric force and magnetic force, which again can be, I write from that, Q E plus V cross B. So this force is called as Lorentz force. So what is Lorentz force? Lorentz force is the total electromagnetic force on a charge. So the electric field which is Q into E and magnetic field which is Q V cross B. If you do the vector addition of both the forces, whatever force you are getting, that force is called as Lorentz force. So the total Lorentz force on a particle is given as Q into E plus Q V cross B. So this is the Lorentz force. So now we are going to do the application. Before we start the application of the Lorentz force and all those things, let us see when the Lorentz force is 0. So the Lorentz force is given as Q into E plus V cross B, and you want to find a condition when this force will be 0. So if I put this force is equals to 0, I will get E plus V cross B is equals to 0. From here you will see that E is equals to V cross B. So if the condition for Lorentz force to be 0 is electric field should be opposite to V cross B. If electric field is opposite to V cross B and the magnitude of electric field is VB sin theta, then the Lorentz force will be 0. So condition for Lorentz force to be 0 is magnitude of electric field should be VB sin theta and the direction of electric field should be opposite to V cross B. Then the total Lorentz force on the particle will be 0 and particle will move on a straight line. So if the total Lorentz force is 0, again you can say the force is 0. So acceleration will be 0, which means velocity will be constant and the motion will be straight line. So you have to remember this condition and you have to remember this value. When the electric field is equals to this and the direction is opposite to V cross B, Lorentz force is 0, because tomorrow we are going to see the application of this thing. So with this I am going to stop today. In tomorrow's class we are going to see the application of both magnetic force and Lorentz force. In that we are going to see 3 things. First thing will be cyclotron, second will be mass spectrometer, and the third application will be velocity selector. And for all these 3 applications you need to have a basic understanding of what is the magnetic force, what is the Lorentz force, what is the condition for the Lorentz force to be 0, and what is the motion of the particle when it is velocity of the particle is perpendicular to the magnetic field. So revise these things which I have covered today, because I am going to use all these formulas in the next class also, where you have to see these 3 applications. These 2 you are going to see in the atomic structure, and this cyclotron is a separate topic in your magnetic field. So with this I am going to stop. I will see you in the next class. Thank you.